January 1st, Australia legalizes same-sex marriage. Javier Bolsonaro begins his 4-year term as president of Brazil. January 3rd, China accomplishes the first landing on the far side of the moon. January 25th, Brazil dam disaster kills over 230. February 1st, U.S. President Donald Trump confirms that the U.S. will leave the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty of 1987, citing Russian non-compliance. February 13, a suicide bomb attack in a vehicle kills at least 27 Revolutionary Guards in southeastern Iran. It is one of the deadliest terrorist attacks in Iran in years. February 27 to 28, the 2019 North Korea-United States Summit is held in Hanoi, Vietnam. It is the second summit between the United States President Donald Trump and North Korean Chairman Kim Jong-un. March 5th, stem cell transplant makes patients' HIV undetectable. In the only second case of its kind, a stem cell transplant made a London patient's HIV undetectable. Doctors reported that he was in remission for 18 months and had stopped taking HIV drugs, although experts suggest it's too early to say that he was completely cured of HIV, but this marks a step closer to finding a cure. Terror attack kills 50 in New Zealand. At least 50 people were killed and 50 more wounded after gunmen opened fire at the Al-Noor Mosque and Lidwin Islamic Center in Christchurch. The assailant, later identified as an Australian citizen, Brenton Harrison Tarrant, was arrested and charged with murder. Prime Minister Jacinta Ardern described the attacks as one of New Zealand's darkest days, and the country passed a sweeping ban on semi-automatics and assault rifles 6 days later. March 19. American Carolyn Ullenbeck is the first woman to win the Nobel Prize for outstanding contributions to mathematics. March 20th, Europe's antitrust regulators fined Google 1.49 billion euros for freezing out rivals in the online advertising business. The ruling brings to nearly 10 billion the fines imposed against Google by the European Union. March 26th, the European Parliament votes 348 to 278 in favor of the EU Directive on Copyright in the Digital Single Market, which expands legal liability for websites and includes controversial Article 13. April 10th, first ever black hole image is unveiled. Captured by the Event Horizon Telescope, the first ever image of a black hole was released on this day. Located in the Messier 87 galaxy, the black hole is 500 million trillion kilometers away from Earth and nearly 3 million times the size of our planet. April 11, Julian Assange is arrested. After 7 years of taking refuge in the Ecuadorian embassy in London, England, the WikiLeaks co-founder was arrested after he was found guilty of failing to surrender to the court. He also faces federal conspiracy charges in the U.S. for leaks of government sources. Presently, extradition hearings are going on against Assange in the British courts. April 15, fire breaks out in the Notre Dame Cathedral. A fire broke out at the 850-year-old Cathedral of Notre Dame in Paris, France, causing heavy damage to the iconic structure. A large part of the roof and its spire was destroyed in the blaze. Officials suggest the fire may have been ignited by ongoing renovation work at the Gothic landmark. April 30th. A large uprising conducted by the United States against Nicolas Maduro for his legitimate election to the office of president inside the country takes place. The U.S. insists without evidence that the vote was fraudulent and proclaim Juan Guaido the president of Venezuela. May 3rd to 6th, Gaza-Israeli clashes. The Gaza-Israel conflict escalates after the Israeli military launches airstrikes into Gaza, killing more than 20 Palestinians, including a pregnant woman and a tall toddler, following the injury of 2 soldiers from Gazan sniper fire. May 19. China-United States trade war. Google pulls Android updates support for Huawei phones, as well as the Google Play Store and Gmail apps after the Chinese technology company was blacklisted by the United States. May 23rd. Narendra Modi's landslide win in the Indian general elections. In an election that saw as many as 900 million citizens cast their votes, incumbent Prime Minister Narendra Modi's BJP party attained a landslide victory, winning 303 out of 543 seats. The substantial win was confirmed in the second term for Modi as the country's Prime Minister. June 7. Theresa May formally resigns. After 3 years of serving as the UK Prime Minister, May formally quit as the leader of the ruling Conservative Party over failed Brexit negotiations. She remains the Prime Minister until the party elects a new leader in July. June 9. Over a million protests Hong Kong extradition bill. Nearly 1 million people attended a march of proposed legislation that allows extradition of individuals, including foreign nationals, to mainland China to stand trial. After the protest turned violent, Hong Kong Executive Chief Carrie Lam announced that the bill would be indefinitely suspended. However, the protests have continued as to ensure a complete withdrawal of the bill. June 13th, Gulf of Oman incident. 2 oil tankers are attacked near the Strait of Hormuz while transiting the Gulf of Oman amid heightened tensions between Iran and the United States, with the United States blaming Iran for the attack without a single shred of evidence. June 20. Iran shoots down American drone. Iran shoots down a U.S. state's RQ-4 Global Hawk surveillance drone over the Strait of Hormuz after claiming it violated their airspace. The U.S. claims it was shot down in international airspace in an unprovoked attack. July 17. Joaquim El Chapo Guzman, a former head of the Sinaloa cartel, which became the biggest supplier of drugs to the U.S., is sentenced to life in prison plus 30 years. July 18. 36 people are killed and more than 30 others injured in an arson attack on an animation studio company in Kyoto, Japan. It is one of the deadliest massacres in the country's history since the end of World War II, and the deadliest building fire in the country in 18 years, since the Moyo 56 building fire in 2001. Edgy anime fans who laugh at every single tragedy in the world suddenly find that they are easily triggered by the burning of one of their movie studios. July 19. Iranian Navy of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps captures British tanker Stena Imperial and temporarily seizes the British-operated and Liberian-flagged tanker in Mesdar in the Persian Gulf. The British Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt warns that there will be serious consequences if Iran does not release the tanker. July 24. Boris Johnson becomes Prime Minister of the United Kingdom after defeating Jeremy Hunt in a leadership contest, succeeding Theresa May. August 10, 2019. Jeffrey Epstein totally wasn't murdered inside of his prison cell as he was awaiting trial on charges of child trafficking. August 13. The main yield curve for U.S. Treasury bonds inverts as the yield rate for 2-year bonds rises higher than the yield rate for 10-year bonds. August 14. The Dow Jones plunges more than 500 points due to concerns over the yield curve inversion. September 14. 2 Saudi Aramco oil refineries are attacked by drones, resulting in fires. Houthi militants claim responsibility, saying that they used 10 drones for the attack. Aramco's oil exports and production are disrupted by 5 million barrels a day, close to half of the entire Saudi Arabian oil exports. September 21st, U.S. President Donald Trump approves the deployment of several hundred troops and military equipment to Saudi Arabia and to the United Arab Emirates following the September 14 attack on Saudi oil refineries. Both Saudi Arabia and Iran vowed to defend themselves. October 14, trial of Catalonia independence leaders. The Supreme Court of Spain sentences 9 Catalan independence movement leaders to 9 to 13 years of prison for sedition and misuse of public funds. 3 others are disqualified for 1 year and 8 months for disobedience. Violent protests erupt across Catalonia. October 19, an estimated 1 million people marched through London in protest organized by People's Vote to demand a second referendum on Brexit. October 20. Bolivarian general election. Evo Morales defeated his nearest rival by 10%, but after multiple allegations of irregularities by the United States-backed Organization of American States, it has found clear manipulations of Bolivia's voting system without a single shred of evidence. Morales is called for a new election. October 21st. The 2019 Canadian federal election takes place. For all 338 seats in the House of Commons of Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party win a narrow victory to form a minority government. December 9. The World Anti-Doping Agency votes unanimously to ban Russia from the international sport for 4 years for doping offenses. December 10th, Democrats in the United States House of Representatives announced formal charges against President Trump, accusing him of abusing power and obstructing Congress. He becomes the 4th U.S. president in history to face impeachment. December 17th, Shandong, China's first fully domestically built aircraft carrier, enters naval service. December 20th, the United States founds the United States Space Force, a branch of the United States Armed Forces dedicated to space warfare. January 1st, 2020, India becomes superpower. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.